Good evening, everyone. We are live. It is Monday, June 5th, 2023. It's the MMAOB Daily Podcast. I'm your host, as always, Adam Martin, joined by my co-host here, Mr. Big Marcel. We're going to be recapping UFC Vegas 74. And then following that, we will be previewing UFC 289, Nunes versus Aldana. And we'll do that in the second podcast. But we're going to start with UFC Vegas 74 before we get into it. Marcel, how's everything with you, man? Haven't talked to you I think last Sunday we did the podcast, right? So it's been over a week now. How's everything, man?
Yeah, all good, man. Looking forward to recapping UFC Vegas 74 and the next one, previewing UFC Fight Night Vancouver. So,
Yeah, absolutely.
I look forward to it. And all is good, man. All is good. How about
It's a
you?
good one. Yeah, I mean, it's not the best card, right? The Vancouver card. It's missing like another fight, Marcel. That's what I think, We'll talk about that in the next podcast. I know you are not a fan of the bout order. I think we'll say that. All right, guys, let's get into it. UFC Vegas 74. We'll do the recap here. We're going to go through all the fights. First off, I just want to say before we get into it, Marcel, it's crazy. Like, I started off 2-5 in the prelims, and I was like, oh, man, this is going to be like a horrible night. Like, my picks suck. And then it went 6-0 in the main card. So it's like such a weird night. And of course, it caps off with a controversial decision here for Amir Albazi in the main event. Split decision win for him. Here's the thing. Okay, so we talk about it all the time, right? Like, we try to be as unbiased as we can in this podcast. Don't we, Marcel? We try our best to be, right? Because the thing is, like I've told you guys so many times, like there's no point in me coming on the podcast one day and being like, oh man, the judges ripped me off, or oh man, I got lucky and my guy won, or just say like, oh yeah, he definitely won the fight and I got the win, you lost. Here's the thing. This was a fucking close fight, okay? This was a very fucking close fight. Either scorecard would have been acceptable. Honestly, Marcel, it's just like last month with the Cejudo Sterling fight. Very similar to me. Like, I had Cejudo winning, Sterling won. I wasn't upset about it, And this card, I had Albazi. I thought Cara France won. But I don't think it's like the worst decision ever. I don't think it's a robbery. I do think the judges got it wrong. I think it was close. But I do think Cara France won. And the most egregious thing about this, guys, is Chris Lee scoring round 4 for Amir Albazi. That's what decided the fight. That's a bad scorecard. Here's how I had it, Marcel. I had it 2-2 heading into the 5th. Obviously, Cara France won the 5th round. That was like his most clear round, arguably. I think it was the first round I had for Cara France, and then the second and third for Albazi. I believe that's what I had, and then I had the 4th and 5th for Cara France. So again, a close fight. You can't. Okay, that's the thing. They're like looking at during the broadcast. They were looking at the strike totals. You can't really look at it like that. It's a flawed way to look at a fight because if you look at it right now, it says 99-43. You're like, holy fuck, what a robbery. But again, it's round by round. It's round by round, right? So yes, there was a few rounds. Again, the 4th round, 27-5 in significant strikes. Crazy to give it to Albazi. That's insane. He did nothing that round, let's be honest. The 5th round, obviously, 34-18. But then the other rounds works out very, very close striking. And then, of course, it is MMA. When Amir gets you down, when he's taking the guys back, that's good. That's effective grappling. That's impact. Something that Judge Werner Clemens, I don't know if you guys saw it, Aaron Broadster interviewed him. I like the word he used. He didn't use damage because it's such a it's a term that really, when you use that term, which by the way is not in the unified rules, damage. It's not in the rule book. People have used this word, but I think impact's a better word because grappling counts still. It is MMA. So the 3rd round, some people were like, oh, Cara France won. I don't think so, Marcel. Not at all in my opinion. It was a close fight, guys. Again, I picked Albazi. I had him as my best bet of the week. I was glad I won. I wasn't sure, but I do think the other guy should have got his hand raised. I just try to be as unbiased as I can. I'd love to hear your thoughts, Marcel. I'll get some comments in a sec, but I want to hear how you scored the fight. Again, I had 3-2 for Cara France, a close fight. What do you think?
So initially, I was the fight. First round, I thought it was close the first round, but I gave it to Cara France. I think he did enough to win that round. Second and third round were rounds for Albazi to me, and rounds 4 and 5 were clear rounds for Cara France to me. So I did exactly the same 48-47. The thing is, like, do I judge the judge who scored the first round for Albazi? I don't. I think it's a possibility, but I still think Cara France did enough to win that round. On the other hand, Chris Lee, that's a horrible scorecard.
Dude, this guy is a fucking bad judge. Get rid of this guy. I'm so tired of him, Marcel, honestly.
Yeah, but you cannot score that 4th round for Albazi. You know what I mean? It's impossible,
Yeah.
It's just stupid.
Laughable.
And again, our guy Michael Bell had the right
I had the
scorecard.
same
in my
scorecard
opinion.
as him, by the way. And when I do, I feel pretty good about it, you know?
Yeah, me too. The thing is with Michael Bell, you know, sometimes he has a different scorecard. He's like the guy who doesn't have the right score or have this the winner at least, but he has the right scorecard many
I
times.
know.
And if he has a different scorecard, at least you can see why he
Yep.
scored it for that
He's
guy.
a
It's
very
never,
good judge. We've talked
yeah,
about him a lot. He's great,
I really
right?
like him a lot. Yeah,
Yeah.
me too. So, yeah, overall, I feel like it was close, but still the wrong guy got the decision, man. You know, I
Yeah.
think Cara France did enough. The outrage was huge, dude, on Twitter or everywhere, you know.
See, I don't know
I,
about that. I don't think it's
I,
like the worst robbery of the year or anything, you know?
you
I
know,
don't think so.
I mean, Jay Collier against Andrei Arlovski
Was
was
that this
way
year?
worse.
Was that this year?
No, it was last year.
Okay,
But
that was
but
terrible.
that was way worse. But there
Ross
was
Pearson, Diego Sanchez,
yeah,
worse,
but
right?
there was no outrage almost about that fight because people love Arlovski and don't give a shit about Collier. You know
Well, I
what I
also
mean?
think Adrian Adesanya going on Twitter, he's very popular, you know, saying, you know,
Yeah,
judges are
listen, man, Adesanya doesn't have a word for me in this one because it's his teammate. You know,
Of course.
I agree with him, but he only barks when it's his teammates. You know, I didn't hear him when Hooker beat Felder with a decision. You know what should have been Felder's, in my opinion.
Yep.
Of could have been. Let's put it that way. So he only barks when it's his own teammates, which is understandable, you know. But people are gonna write whole articles about, oh, Adesanya is a guy. Of course, he's gonna say that. You know, obviously, you know. And this time, I think he's correct. Last time with Volk against Makachev, I think they were a little bit overreacting. But this time he was correct. And yeah, well, it sucks, man. I mean, we say it every week. Every single week, we're talking about a bad scorecard from the judges, which influence the fights. And people don't understand. Yeah, people do understand. But these guys are like... these guys stealing pretty much a paycheck from a fighter, you know what I mean? And what annoys me the most, I don't know if you saw that Aaron Brunstetter clip with Mike Mazzulli.
He's a fucking asshole. I don't like this guy at all.
Where Mazzulli says, like, I have to defend my... I was like, dude, this is like... He said I should put it this way. He said there were only reactions to the judges when they do something wrong, but they never got complimented. You know, listen, man.
Well, they're doing their. What do we have to like? Does someone go and pat me on the back for doing a good job? My fucking work? No.
That's exactly the thing. You know, I got learned by my dad, for example. You know, when I came home back in the day, you know, with a grade, which I had like an A. Let's say I had an A. You know. And my dad is like, okay, cool, you know, well done. And then when I come home with a D, you know, he's like, what the fuck have you been doing? You know? And then I said to him, for example, when I was younger, I was like, why you're always so hard on me when I get a D, but if I get an A, you're like, yeah. He's like, you're just doing what you should do, you know? It's not like if you do something good, you don't have to be told every time you do something good, you know? But if you do something bad, I gotta give you feedback to do it better. You know, and back in the day, I don't understand it. But now, when I'm older and I'm more wiser, I think at least I am, I understand that, you know. And that's the same with these judges, you know. It's your work. Do it like you should do it. And if there is something that is wrong, people will say something to you and at least give feedback. And listen, man, there are always people who are being nasty. You know, you'll always get that, but you shouldn't reply to those people. But there should be more, how do you say that? Transparency, you know, at least, I think. And that's a big thing with these commissions. These guys, for example, man, remember when they flew in, I don't know the name of the judge anymore, to score cards in England. I was like, dude, he fucked up last two events with two fights, and they flew him into England to score there, you know? And I don't say it's an easy job. I don't want to say that. But still, I feel like the majority of the MMA fans who are watching know how to score a fight. You know what I mean? Listen, man, if 100 people, you know, are watching the fight and you're the one who says it's different and 99 people saying it's the other way, unless you're like Albert Einstein or something, you're likely wrong. You know what I mean? It's a very big possibility you're wrong. Yeah, it's just annoying. We can keep talking about it, but it won't matter at all.
We just got breaking news in the chat from our friend Cole Sheldon. Chris Weidman's return is booked. He's fighting UFC 292 in Boston against Brad Tavares. Okay, interesting. The last time he fought in Boston, he fought Dominic Reyes and got knocked out, I think, right? Wasn't that? So we'll see how he does. I mean, that's a tough fight to come back from. Brad Tavares is very solid everywhere. Anyways, thanks, Cole, for telling us. Let's get back to this fight. Yeah, it's just annoying. Again, I think Chris Lee's a bad judge. And by the way, you just made me so angry because I went and looked at the Sterling scorecard with Cejudo. Judge Derek Cleary, who's also a really bad judge. This guy's a clown. These people are clowns. I hope they hear this podcast. They're just clowns. You're not good at your jobs, guys. Go back to and that's the thing. Mike Mizzou's like, these guys are black belts jiu-jitsu. They train all the time. They know what they're talking about. Dude, just because you're a black belt jiu-jitsu does not know how you're great at scoring MMA fights. Trust me, Marcel. Yeah. The gym I used to train at, tons of people that train jiu-jitsu didn't even watch MMA. For instance, and even if they didn't mean they knew the scoring criteria. So that's just a bad reason to be like, oh, this guy owns a gym. This guy owns Tiger Schulman's. Again, or even if you're a fighter, just be like, okay, just because he's an MMA fighter or a coach doesn't mean they know the criteria. Okay, it's just annoying. And by the way, I'm fucking tired of that guy using that horrible example of, do you guys know when the no contest is scored after 2 rounds of completion? Like, that's his thing. And if the fighter doesn't know that, then they don't know the rules. That's fucking terrible. Because honestly, I know that. A lot of the commentators don't, which is sad. How many times we watch fights where like Bisping or Felder's like, what happens now? I think now they're starting to, realize what happens. Anyways, I'm just getting upset because we talk about this shit every fucking week, guys. Every fucking week we come on this podcast and we talk about a bad decision. Again, this one helped me. This looked good on me, Marcel. I picked Amir Albazi, but I just want to see the right guy fucking win the fight.
Exactly, but that's the thing. I'll tell you something. Remember that guy, that Sutherland guy who scored in England? Those real scorecards.
Terrible.
And I pointed it out on Twitter.
And you had that guy message you, right?
Yeah. Okay. I'm not gonna say who messaged me, but I told you about it. Yeah. I mean, because Mokaev and Chris Duncan, pointed him out and started on Twitter like, this guy shouldn't score fights. And apparently he's like a big name in the UK industry. He owns gyms, teaches classes, and he's like a former MMA fighter. But listen, man, I don't want to give these people backlash or anything. I'm just saying it's bad. I said some people want to have a talk with this guy, people got upset about it. It's like, yeah, okay, but shouldn't you be upset about the scoring?
What do you get? We're criticizing guys. Like, I get criticized at my job all the time. I mean, it's just part of the job. Of course, whatever you do in life, you're going to be criticized. You're not doing a good job. The thing about MMA that pisses me off, and I think all you guys kind of feel the same way in this chat because we've been talking about forever. There's no accountability. Like, you fuck up a scorecard, you fuck someone's career up. You fucking destroy their win streak. Dustin Jacoby versus Khalil Roundtree, great example, right? That guy had so much momentum. That happens. He loses his next fight. Now he's in like 2-fight losing streak. Loses one more, he might get released. Who fucking knows? Like, I doubt it, but I'm just saying, like, you never know. But it takes away half their paycheck too, right? Takes away their ranking.
That's a sad thing, that
paycheck. Yeah.
We should get rid of that win. Why do you say that?
Show win money. The thing about that is it's so like antiquated, right? Like, it's something that came from boxing, and it's like Dana White and the UFC. I mean, it makes sense. If I'm running a business, so I'd like to pay guys as little as possible, obviously, as well.
Yeah,
it's just, I get that, right? Like, you want to give them a wage, and
of course.
I get it, but like, you're trying to run a business, but at the same time, like, we're so far into the sport now. Like, the sport's making money. Like, people are doing well. The promoter, especially the UFC, like, they can get rid of that. They're not going to, Marcel. They probably won't ever get rid of it, like, unless the government steps in.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
That's the only way, unless like they did a unionization or something, the government stepped in. Anyways, again, guys, I'm getting worked up just because, again, we talk about it so often. It's the same judges. It's Chris Lee. It's this Derek Cleary guy. Sal D'Amato also had a wrong scorecard too, right? So
yeah,
I'll give Sal credit. He's been a little better the last couple of years, I think, but still not the best judge. Michael Bell's a good judge. I trust his judging more. By the way, guess who scored Sterling for Cejudo for Cejudo, which I thought he won. Again, close fight. Michael Bell. That's the guy. If I look at it, and I know you agree, Marcel, when you look at his scorecard and it's the same or very similar, you feel pretty good about it, right? So
yeah, the thing is with Michael Bell, like I said, man, listen, sometimes I don't agree with the scorecard of his, but at least it makes sense. You know what I mean? Yeah. You can score a round for that guy instead for that guy, that I did, for example. But it's like, I think a year ago or something, we went to MMA Decisions and watched his fights where he was the descendant judge. And pretty much all those fights, we picked the guy he picked. For example, the Anders versus Park fight, we picked Anders, he picked Anders, Park won the fight. That's one I can remember.
Michael Johnson versus Jane Malarkey, right? We had Johnson.
Yeah, exactly.
Or Jalgis versus Jeff Molina, we had Jalgis.
Exactly, and he had
Or
this one.
Eric Anders versus Jungle Park. We had Anders. Or Jake Collier versus Orlovsky. I'm telling you, that guy's a good judge. I have no idea. I know he follows you on Twitter. I have no idea if he's ever heard our podcast, but I just want to give that guy credit, Michael Bell. He's a good judge. He cares about scoring fights correctly. Okay, these other guys don't care, Marcel. I really don't think they care. I think they fucking write their score and they go home and they don't give a fucking shit afterwards. And in fact, I think a lot of them are they have huge egos too, right? Because they'll never admit they're wrong. They'll always have a reason to justify their shitty scorecards. Anyway, Marcel.
Mike Mazzulli, if you're listening, we just gave Mike Bell a huge compliment the whole damn time. So
he did. He's a good judge. He deserves some credit. But again, okay, let's get some comments. Chat. What's up, everyone? What's up? Glenn, what's up, man? One, funny how Marcel's favorite judge got it right, least favorite judge got it wrong. I mean, it's not it's funny, Juan. It's just every week it's the same fucking usual suspects every week. Marcus, I know you won a lot of money on this, but he's even admitting he thought that Kai won. See, I'm in the same boat.
Congrats, by the way, Marcus, man.
Yeah, nice job, Marcus. I'm in the same boat as you, though, Marcus. Like, again, it helped me out, but, sweet scientist, what's up, man? Maybe Octagon Generalship got scored heavily. I mean, it shouldn't be, though, because here's the thing about judging. Again, I really would encourage Will. The Mike Mazzulli chat, Aaron tried his best with that guy. He asked good questions. That guy's answers sucked. But the other, I don't know if you watched the Clemens Werner one, the judge.
I haven't seen that one.
He's, you know what? Listen, I don't always agree with his scorecards, but the way he explained it makes a lot of sense. So he talked about basically like a good judge, and I've always said this too, they should be able to decide around between the effective striking and grappling, right? There's usually someone has a little slight difference. Now, granted, there's some fights like Rose and Carla where nothing happens, and then you have to go to the aggression and octagon control. This fight with Amir and Kai, I don't think it reached that second, third criteria. It should have stayed at the top. There was a winner with the striking and grappling in each round, in my opinion. Again, some were close rounds, right? But we have the same winner, Marcel. Again, we both picked Amir, right? But we both had Kai winning by decision. Joe, what's up, man? Glenn, different week, same old shit. Round 4 is critical to decide the fight. Nothing changes. That's what I'm saying. Like, how the fuck is this guy going to justify round 4? Again, the stats look like 27-5. How do you win a round where you land 5 significant strikes? Like, it doesn't even make sense. He literally had quintuple. I don't even know the word. 5 times the fucking amount. I mean, someone tell me the word. I don't know what the word is for five times or something. Anyways, Crazy Potter, how's anyone give Amir the 4th? I mean, Chris Lee did. Chris Lee, this guy's such a shit judge. He's so bad. Who's another bad judge? That guy in Texas last year, that rocket scientist guy that was scoring all those fights. Remember? And Aaron Broadstarter had that tweet about this guy's like a literal rocket scientist and he couldn't fucking score a fight. And they haven't used him since. Okay? He lost his job. You guys are getting the A. All right. Marcus, what's up, man? Glad to have you here, my friend. Open scoring? I don't think so, man. I tell you, I don't think so, Grateful Dead. It's just the judges itself. Like, it doesn't matter. Even if you had the scores out and you knew that thing was, it's not like they're not trying to finish the fight, Marcel. They're trying. These guys are just really tough. I don't think it would have mattered. Kai would have known he was down, but the 5th round was the strongest round anyways. So I don't think it matters. I think you just need better judges. Or you do 5 judges instead, but they're not going to pay 2 extra people. We know that. But in Glory, I know they do it, Marcel. And I know that there's weird split decisions, majority decisions. I get it. But when you do have 5, there's less likely to have that outlier, right? So funniest part of the 4th is Kai actually landed more takedowns than Amir. Yeah, I mean, it was clearly his round. It's just stupid. What's up, Antoine? Glad to have you here, my friend. By the way, you said my haircut. Yeah, I just cut it today. Had to get a nice cut for the summer.
I think it's fucking sexy.
Thanks, buddy. Is this the Michael Bell fan club? Yeah, it is. No, just because, like, honestly, my hair doesn't grow as good as it used to, guys. I'm losing, like, I'm balding here too, obviously. Like, you can
me
see
too,
it.
man.
Yeah, I mean, that's the part as you get older, man. Me and you were getting old, Marcel. I'm 34. I'm turning 35-ish. I'm going to be, when they talk about, like, age groups to watch UFC was, like, 18 to 24 or 18 to 25. Then it was, like, 25 to 34. Now I'm in the 35-plus group, guys. I'm actually eligible for bonuses in hockey now. I'm, like Zdeno Chara and those guys they can get bonuses at 35-plus.
You're almost happy when you get a bonus.
Oh, my God. Dude, Marcel, sorry, I didn't even hear you said, but look at this. Chris Lee, remember the caterer?
Yeah, true.
What a clown! This guy's just a terrible judge. All right, I think I've ranted enough. You ranted enough?
Yeah, man. I'm cool, man. No problem. But it's just annoying that have to talk about this every week, And it's not. Listen, man. For fighters, it's even more annoying. You know what I mean? So yeah.
It sucks. I mean, like, yeah. Again, you'd hope that the UFC won't like dock Kara France too much in the rankings, or not the rankings in the matchmaking, because obviously the media does the rankings. I will say this: it is better for the division that Amir won. I will say that, because now you're a brand new contender, right? But
of course, but
most people don't think he won. So he's in the same spot Josh Emmett was, right? Where most people didn't think he won that fight.
But I mean, Josh Emmett got an title fight out of it.
Yeah, he ended up getting. That's what I'm saying. So this guy might get a title fight out of it. Here's the thing: Brandon Royval, I think he's played his cards really poorly. I talked about this, Marcel.
I said that as well,
bro. He fucked up because he's like, oh, I really want this backup role. Why? Why would you not want to fight? He could have fought Cop. He could have fought Cop.
I had a huge, not huge, but a pretty big discussion with James Lynch, our friend, on his podcast. I just typed in, and I was like, I don't think it's a smart idea, man, to wait out and he's like, yeah, but he's guaranteed to be a backup, and I was like, backup, that means you're not fighting and you're hoping you get the title shot, and you're not even guaranteed after that. So
it doesn't make sense. I actually watched Royval's interview with MMA Junkie, and they were asking him like, you've been told about the backup role. He's like, yeah, I'm getting the title shot next. But Dana White and Saturday, they asked him, is it still Royval? And he's like, we don't know right now.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't think he's getting it, to be honest. I think he's going to give it to Amir in Abu Dhabi. I think he's going to fight the winner of Moreno and Pantoja. Doesn't that make sense? Like, it just makes more sense.
It wouldn't surprise me, and right now they are like pretty limited on title fights, so if they can make one, they will do one,
I think Figueiredo fell off the card. I think Royval and his management should have said, hey, listen, we're going to fight Cop instead, because remember, Marcel, for making weight, I think it's $20,000. I believe that's what I've heard. I don't know if it's different for the belts but that's what I heard, right? I don't know if you've heard the same number, Marcel. That's not bad just to make weight, right? Maybe it's a little bit more, but you're not getting your full purse, okay? You're not, because you're not fighting. The odds of someone getting hurt or sick or something and pulling out are really slim. How many times does that happen ever? Like the day of or the day before, Marcel? How many times has that happened? Very few.
Yeah.
Joe Soto and TJ Dillashaw when I can't remember who fell off the card. Barao, right? Was it?
Barao.
Right?
Yeah.
And then the other one would be Jones when he tested positive against DC, and then they put Anderson Silva in that fight.
Yeah.
Right? So, like, there's a few times, but not really. So the odds of him getting that fight are slim. I think he screwed up. I think he should have taken a fight. It's his career. He does what he wants. But, like, man, we've been watching this sport so long, Marcel. There's no guarantees in the sport. There's none. Like, there's just no guarantee. So just get a good win. And honestly, I'll be honest, Marcel, does beating Matthias Nicolau really deserve a title shot? I don't think so, to be honest with you. I think even though it was a close fight, Amir's 5-0, right, in the UFC? 5-0 with 3 finishes, I believe, and against pretty good competition, right? So that's a really good fucking record. UFC should throw Kaya France easier opponent 293. He should get in that card. If they can rebook the Cop, I know that's a hard fight too, but if they can get him to fight him, that'd be a good fight. I doubt Pantoja Moreno want to turn around. Probably not, but I mean, that's what Amir asked for. I think, they could do Amir and Royval too, but you're killing off a contender in a division that needs them, so I doubt they'll do that. I think, if I had to guess, I think Amir's going to get the next title shot. That's my guess, Marcel. Royval will end up fighting. Royval's a great fighter, man. It's fun to watch, action-packed, but I just think he played his cards poorly. I think he should have been like, get me on that card, but get me a fight too, Just get me a fight. All right, let's go to next fight here, Marcel. Shit, that took like 20 minutes, guys. We'll have to get through the other ones a little bit faster. There was just a lot to talk about. All right, Alex Caceres defeats Daniel Pineda. I think we both picked Caceres. I hadn't by decision. Again, my main card picks were just on fire in this card. And I thought he won the fight rounds 1 and 3. It was a competitive fight. Fight of the night, great fight. Any thoughts on this one? Great fight. Yeah,
great fight and really weird one at the same time, because Alex Caceres was doing really well in the first round and almost got tapped out by the armbar, Then the second round, Pineda was much better, on the ground, controlled him, won the second round. Third round, Caceres better. Pineda was already gassed after the first round, and he was hanging on. Caceres was tagging him into the body, but didn't finish it. And then 10 seconds before the end of the fight, Pineda knocks him down, although he didn't get awarded the knockdown, which is bullshit.
That's a clear. I watched it 5 times. That is a knockdown 100%. They should have scored a knockdown for Pineda. It wouldn't change the round because he was dominated that round, let's be honest. But Marcel, for the stats, that's a knockdown, is it not? Of
course. I don't understand how he's not getting a knockdown for that. But despite that, good win for Caceres, man. I mean, Pineda is, Pineda has like 100% finish record. He's super dangerous, and I think Caceres did well. And man, 6 wins out of 7 of his last fights. The only problem for Caceres is that the only losses to Sodiq Yusuff, and it's the only guy who's above him in the rankings. All these others are like unranked guys he defeated. So what are they going to do with him next? I would say,
I think Giga, that's the fight.
Sorry,
Giga Chikadze, that's the fight.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense, And I was thinking about, even a Barboza, but I don't see it happening, to be honest. But listen, man, the UFC wanted to have Bryce Mitchell against Jonathan Pierce. I wouldn't be surprised if they match up Jonathan Pierce with Alex Caceres, to be really honest.
They do. They could, but he's looked great. I mean, you know what, Marcel? He's had a really, really great career turnaround.
He looked really good.
At the beginning of his career, guys, like, honestly, he had some good performances, but he also lost a lot. He lost to some guys that were terrible. Like Edwin Figueroa, that fight where he had the 2 low blows. Remember that fight? Herb took 2 points.
Or he got knocked out by
Francisco Rivera. 21 seconds.
Wang Guan, he lost.
Jason Knights. Wang Guan, Ron Gracie, who fucking sucks. Ron Gracie talked about in a minute. Yeah. So listen, the guy's had a great career turnaround. Once, like you said, 7 of his last 8, Marcel. Yeah. 7 of 8. So very impressive. Yeah, he's looked good. It was a good fight. And Pineda's a dog. We knew, that meme where it's like the X-ray and the dogs are like in the ribs. You've seen that?
Yeah, right? Of course.
That's like Pineda, dogs. Right? That's why they call him the pit. He's like a pit bull.
Yeah.
All right, get some more comments here. Yeah, it was a great fight. Awesome fight. I think Brandon beats all the current contenders. Talking about Royval or Moreno? I guess he's talking about Moreno, eh? Yeah. Moreno's great. I mean, he's improving too, so it's hard to really pick against him these days. Yeah, like I said, I think Giga or Marcel's Barboza or Pierce or Ige. If Ige beats Landwehr this weekend, we'll talk about that fight on the next podcast coming up.
To be honest, I think if Ige wins, then he's a 2-fight win streak. I don't think he wants to look down.
I agree. All right, let's go to the next fight here. We didn't get a chance to talk about this fight because it was a 1-day notice. I'm in a survivor pool. Immediately, I picked Jim Miller by knockout. Whenever there's like a huge mismatch like this, I picked him by knockout. And I looked at Jesse Butler's record. All of his losses by decision except for 1. So I figured, okay, Jim Miller almost always finishes his fights. He doesn't really win by decision. So I'm like, he's, fighting a guy that has a lot of submission wins that probably is pretty good in the ground. He'll probably knock him out. I didn't think it would happen in 23 seconds, but my God, what a knockout. Okay, here's the thing. Okay, Marcel, I don't know if you're going to agree with me with this, but I'm going to talk about it, okay? Yeah. I love Jim Miller, okay? He's a legend. He should be in the Hall of Fame, right?
I agree.
But here's the thing. There's the only thing I'm going to say. He does have the most finishes, I think, now in UFC history, but if you look closely, guys, at his record and at the people he's beaten, there's only a few notable names. That's the truth, Again, he's fought a lot of tough guys, but mostly lost to them. Because if you look through his record, the best one he has is obviously Dubronx back in 2010 when Dubronx was a prospect, right? But other than that, Marcel, it's Joe Lozon, it's Donald Cerrone, Clay Guida. Those are his best wins. So he has a really good record with a lot of finishes, Marcel. But it's like, I don't know. You have to look closely at who they fought, because you even look at I don't know anyone else really in the division. Like I was looking at some of the other guys he's fought. Like they fought in better guys and beaten better guys. So don't get me wrong. I love Jim Miller. I'm not trying to knock him at all. It's not his fault that his opponent not pulled out. Jared Gordon got pulled from the fight. We'll talk about that in a second, by the way. I'm just saying, I don't know. Like if you look at his record, when he retires, he's gonna be in the Hall of Fame. They would be like, oh, he's got 25 finishes, but 20 of them came against guys that were not even ranked. That's
25 wins, not 25 finishes, I think.
25 wins, sorry. And then how many finishes, though? 20? A lot of them were maybe 15. I don't know.
Yeah, I think he's second after Oliveira.
I'm just saying, look closer at his record, guys. I'm not trying to knock the guy. It's not his fault. It's who he gets matched up with. But, he's never, been that top contender. The closest he ever came was when he beat Benson, or when he lost to Benson, that streak he had, right?
Someone,
yeah. Anyways, don't get me wrong. He's a great fighter. As far as the bonus goes, it was a quick knockout. It was a brutal knockout. I'm not surprised. I do think Karine Silva should have got it instead, personally. But that's the one I'm going to say. Go ahead, Marcel. Talk about it.
Yeah, I mean, good win by Miller. Either one was a short notice, 2 days notice for Jesse Butler. He knocked him out, man, and violently, viciously. This 25th win in the UFC. He has now 42 fights, I think, in the UFC. He wants to have 45, and he wants to fight at UFC 300.
Yep.
Yeah, I like it. He wants to fight in 3 weight classes, is what I read. I think he was open to fight in 3 weight classes.
What, featherweight? Featherweight? Could he make it?
I don't know if it was it was lightweight, welterweight, and I don't know if it was feather or middle, but I think feather. But yeah, I think it was a good win, and I mean, and all respect to Jim Miller. I think almost everybody likes Jim Miller. You know,
Yeah.
dude is like a super vet who still does well. Had that, I think, the Lyme disease, right, during his career,
Yep.
and he's doing well, and I'm happy for him. You know, I always like Jim Miller. I like the way he represents himself. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's like a true mixed martial artist, in my opinion, and
For sure.
very, very down to earth kind of guy, I think, and I'm happy he still does well, you know.
Yeah, for sure. Let me just get some comments for this one. Hall of Fame. Hey, Jason. He says Hall of Fame. Not sure. Never stepped title contention. Like I said, the closest he ever got was when he had like 7 wins in a row and then lost to Benson. I think he's going to the Hall of Fame though because he does have the most wins in UFC history. Like, how could he not really? You know, Marcel. So like for me, he's going to go in. He's second. I just checked. He has the most fights all time, 42. He has the most wins at 25. And he has second most finishes. Excuse me, I misspoke earlier. 17 finishes. But again, the only finish he has over a guy who was ever ranked is Cerrone, and like I don't know if Clay Guida was ever ranked.
Benson, Benson, he lost. Yeah,
dude, that's literally the best. That's and Oliveira. Sorry, and Oliveira. Obviously.
Yeah,
that's it. I mean, again, I like the guy. We all like him, but if you look closer at his resume, then I can see why people have a problem with it. But again, just based on the fact of the longevity, the amount he fights, he's going to go in the Hall of Fame, even though it's going to be controversial because other than I think Cowboy's like the first guy that was a champion, except if you count like Bonner. So
listen, man, if these motherfuckers are smart, they're going to put an extra ring and they do, for example, like bonus kings or something.
Sure,
I don't know, whatever.
Like, yeah, for sure. Like
or ultimate records, for example. I say some, you know,
like Matt Brown.
Yeah.
He's got the most knockouts. Yeah, because I don't look at Matt Brown as a Hall of Famer either, right? But he could get in. Anyways, a couple more comments here, guys. Yes, it's the most wins, second most finishes. Miller stepping in for Bobby Green when he pulls out against Tony. I mean, Tony shouldn't be fighting. He's just had a DUI. He shouldn't be fighting right now. I think it's Matt Brown, Derek Lewis. Yes, Matt Brown's still going strong. Derek Lewis, I mean, he's lost, 3 straight fights? That's the thing with Derek. Like, he's in a crazy division too where he can get knocked out. So it's like, how many more knockouts in a row is he going to suffer before the UFC is like, hey, like, you know, we have to release you? Like, I don't think so because Derek might be the kind of guy, Marcel, that could lose 5 straight fights because he's so popular and obviously he's exciting. But I think he's lost 3 straight, right? If I'm not mistaken, by knockout. So Miller Gillespie, I'd like that fight actually. That's a really fun fight. I don't think they do it. I think Gregor would win, but it would be a good fight. Also wouldn't mind at 45 vet like Cover Barboza going up to fight Miller. I think he said he's mentioned Joe Lozon again. They fought twice, but it would be an interesting third fight. I think were they 1-1 or did Jim win both? Jim has 2 wins over Joe Lozon, but the second fight was very both were fight of the nights, by the way. So yeah, I wouldn't mind that trilogy fight. Maybe Marcel. Well, I don't know if they could turn him around for Boston, but he wants 3 more fights. That would actually the timing would work out well because they could do like him in the summer and then him in the winter and then him for 300. That'd be his 45th fight. Miller or Tony, who's the favorite? Tony probably would be, but I don't know if I'd pick him. But I think he probably would be favored on the betting odds. Jim Miller's great. Don't get me wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. I wouldn't pick Tony. I'm just saying he might be favored. All right, get back to the fights here, guys. Tim Elliott defeats Victor Altamirano. Just takedowns, 11 minutes of control, Marcel. I mean, it's what we figured he would do, right?
Yeah, pretty much. You know, we both were on Tim Elliott here, you know, because we have seen Victor Altamirano's fights before this one.
Yeah.
So, and he's not bad at all, but this was like pretty much bad matchup for him. You know, Tim Elliott does what he does. Yeah. Good win for him. Happy for Tim Elliott. You know, after what he's been going through, good for him. So And
I know he had the thing about the not getting the tickets. Honestly, man, I don't have a ton of sympathy for that. I have a sympathy for his wife cheating on him with another fighter. That's disgusting. But for the tickets, more so, like that's something he should have talked to the UFC about before he flew his family there, right? Like that's on him too. I know he's cutting weight. He's dealing with stress. I get it, but he should have double checked. He shouldn't have assumed he was getting tickets. Those tickets are expensive. They only give them to the main event fight families, apparently. Again, if it's a UFC rule, they can't just bend the rules for everyone, you know? So it sucks. Don't get me wrong. It sucks, but that's how it is. By the way, I forgot about talking about Jared Gordon in the last fight pulling out, getting pulled. That's not on Gordon. He obviously was way too honest at the media conference. Yeah. Like he just did his job. He answered the questions. Too honest, Marcel. But didn't we talk about this last week? And even when the fight got announced, I was like, dude, he just got knocked out. Why is he fighting it so soon? We both talked about it. Mm-hmm. This is on the matchmakers. They knew he got knocked out. This is on his manager. He knew he got knocked out. It was Ali Abdulaziz, by the way. It's not on Jared at all. It's not on Dana either. This isn't Dana's fault. You know, you can't blame Dana. Dana can't know everything that's going on. That's why he has matchmakers.
That's true, but then Dana shouldn't make.
I agree. It was bullshit. He threw him under the bus.
Yeah,
He
exactly.
should have blamed his matchmaker. He should have. He should have been like, that's Sean Shelby McMaynard and Ali Abdelaziz's fault. I think my guess is what happened is because it was a no contest and not technically a knockout, right? Maybe somehow he didn't get suspended.
Didn't thought about it.
Right?
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking. Because otherwise, how do you not get like 60 days or whatever for a knockout? He got brutally knocked out. Honestly, Marcel, after watching what he did to Jesse Butler, Jim Miller might have knocked out Jared Gordon too, to be honest with you. So we both picked Gordon last week, right? Or did you pick Miller, didn't you? No, I can't remember.
No, I picked Gordon.
Yeah, maybe we dodged a bullet potentially. You know?
Who knows?
He might have dodged a bullet. He might have got knocked out again. Anyways, couple comments. Yeah, Tim looked good. No, for sure. Look, yeah, UFC Atlantic City. I did see something about that like a few days ago. So, wish Tony would fight. Same color fighter Miller and Guida would fight. Yeah, I mean that's the thing. That's what I'm saying. Like, you look at Tony's fights. Look at his last 5 fights. Even Nate Diaz, like, yeah, he was favored there, but like Nate's a good fighter. You look at who Jim's fighting. Like, I think Tony beats those guys too. Like Nicholas Mata, like Jesse Butler. Tony destroys Jesse Butler. You know what I mean? So you have to look at who they're fighting too. The matchmaking has been very, beneficial to Jim. The matchmakers love Jim Miller. Again, we have to keep in mind. Originally, who was his opponent again? Marcel? It wasn't Gordon. Who was it originally?
Jim Miller against.
Because Gordon was the guy who stepped in, right?
Yeah, stepped in indeed.
Let me double check.
Ludovic Klein.
Yeah, that was a harder fight, no doubt, right?
Yeah.
Like, I think he was the underdog in that fight. So, yeah, he went from being an underdog and then he gets an easy fight. Anyways, again, he just has to fight who's put in front of him. He's got to do what he got to do. But I just think, again, you look at his last 4 wins. Eric Gonzalez, who sucks. Sorry, I shouldn't say he sucks. I'm sorry. I don't want to be disrespectful to the fighters. I apologize for saying that. He had a bad run, though. He went 0-3, okay? He sucked in the UFC. I hope he bounces back. I know he got cut recently. I wasn't trying to be a jerk. These guys worked their asses off. I wouldn't want someone to tell me I suck too after a bad night of bad picks or something. It happened. So I apologize. I misspoke there, Marcel. He had a bad run in the UFC. Nicholas Mata, he's what, 1-1 in the UFC or something? Mm-hmm. Cerrone retired after the fight. Jesse Butler, who I didn't know who Jesse Butler was 3 days ago or whatever it was. Even Alex, who covers Fury Fighting Championships, is like, I don't know who this guy is. So, yeah, I mean, I'm just saying, like, it's a nice run, but you got to look at who he's fighting. All right, let's go to the next fight here. Karine Silva defeats Ketlin Souza by it's called is it a Z-lock, Marcel? That's what it's called here. That's what they're calling it. It looked like, I thought it was an ankle lock. Anyways, whatever it was brutal. It was nasty.
How do you say the Z-lock?
That's what it says on UFC stats. And I did Google it, and it looks like a jiu-jitsu move. It was an amazing submission. She should have got a bonus, I think, easily. And Damian White said he's like, oh, we'll give her something small or whatever, but don't you think she should have got 50,000, Marcel?
Is that a serious question? Of course, man. What was that thing with Dana White, with the UFC not streaming Dana White's post-fight presser anymore?
Yeah, because I was looking for it, and then I watched it later that night, right? So he's not doing it now, guys. Maybe for the pay-per-view it's different, Marcel, but for the fight nights, they want to reward the people in Vegas. Like,
it's so stupid, man, because they want...
Not everyone go to Vegas, though.
Yeah, but for clickbait, I mean, I think some guys or girls in the room are really known for clickbait. But hey, who am I? But so stupid, But Karine Silva definitely. I said it, man. I mean, I didn't mind Miller and Naimov getting the performance bonuses, but I think Karine definitely deserved the performance bonus. This was a special submission, in my opinion, and super clean as well. She looked super good again. I don't understand why she didn't got it. Really weird to me.
I agree. I think she should have got it. Kaylin might be out for a bit, because that was pretty nasty. But yeah, I like Karine Silva. 2 wins in the UFC by submission now. 3, if you count the one on Contender, 3. So nasty submissions. I hope the UFC can turn her around pretty quick. Her and Natalia Silva, both very exciting. I think UFC's got to put Natalia on the main card though next time, like they did for this fighter. Do you think Silva can get a top 7 opponent? No. I mean, she's coming off a win over someone who's brand new to the UFC, and the other fighter she beat, Patella, is not in the UFC. She could get like someone in the bottom of the top 15. Let me take a look who's there. Women's flyweight, right? I mean, even Miranda Maverick, maybe. I mean, Miranda's fighting Jasmine, who's unranked. So there's some fighters. I don't know. She might have to fight one more person maybe before she gets a ranked fighter. But like Tracy Cortez, if she came back, would be a good fight. But No, Tracy actually shouldn't be even in the rankings anymore. She doesn't fight. Like, when was the last time she fought, Marcel? Hey, Chuck. Like,
I
she's
think
ranked
against
14th.
Melissa Gatto. Right.
Hey, Chuck. Her last win was against Gatto, May 2022. And her fight before was April 2021. She fights once a year. She has no wins over ranked fighters. I don't really see why she should really. Oh, okay, she needed to be Blanchard, but wasn't Invicta, and it was controversial as hell, as you know, Marcel. I don't really think she should be in the rankings anymore. I think there's other fighters that are doing better, that are more active. That's my opinion. Anyways, hopefully she gets better because I know she was doing some issues. Yes, they love putting Maverick against blue chip prospects. They could do her against Silva. It's possible. All right, opening up the card. This fight was pretty boring, eh? We both picked Zaleski dos Santos beats Abubakar, split decision. Honestly, Marcel, again, you can't get too angry about this one, whoever the judges scored it for. I thought Albazi won because he did more damage, he landed more strikes, but Abubakar with all that cage control pushing against the fence, some judges favor that for some reason. He had 6 minutes of control. I thought Dos Santos won, though. What did you think?
What did you think about the bitch slap afterwards from Abubakar?
I don't know. What do you think?
Super stupid, man.
Yeah.
I mean, the shot what Zaleski landed was like in the buzzer, in my opinion, and super stupid. I had 2 rounds for Zaleski. I think it was close. Could have been other way around. Yeah. Wouldn't have mattered. No. It was a super close round. It was like I think it was before the fight. It was a pick him, and it was still after the fight.
Yeah.
Pick him, you know what I mean? So yeah.
Yeah. No one knew. No one really knew. I mean, we both picked Dos Santos because again, he looked outstanding in his last fight with Sundee. So I figured he keeps it standing, he's going to win. But again, Abubakar with the wrestling, but he's just not Khabib. And to be honest, Marcel, he's probably the worst from Magomedov, right? Like he's the worst one, I think, right? Umar's way better, Khabib's way better, Saeed's way better, Usman's way better. Like this guy's the worst one. He's a fraud.
Yeah, man. If his name was Pimblet, he was probably the best one. You know what I mean? So yeah, I mean,
he's 2-2 in the UFC now, Marcel. He's not that good, honestly.
No, I agree, man. I always said it to you. Yeah. I think. And not to pat myself on the back, but I was one of the only few people who picked Zawada in this fight against him.
Yes, that was a good pick. He was a big underdog, and that was in Russia too. So submitted him. Yeah, Abubakar's overrated. All right, go to the prelims here. Daniel Santos wins, clear decision. There was a point deduction in the third round. Looks like Munoz got kicked in the nuts. It was like pissing blood later. He posted a picture of a bottle of blood. Nasty. Even with the point deduction, clearly Santos won this fight. I mean, it was a domination.
Adam,
yeah.
I tell you, the first shot in the nuts should have been a point deduction. It was pretty hard. The second shot, not, in my opinion. And I tell you why not.
It slid up, right?
Yeah, exactly. That was clearly not. It was the intention to kick him in the inside of the leg, which happened.
Yeah, and you still get the 5 minutes, even if that happens. Yeah.
I think the first shot was more a nasty low blow than the second one.
Yep.
And he pissed blood, man. I thought he was like drinking some soda, but that was his piss.
That was nasty. I feel bad for the guy. I mean, hope he feels better, man.
Yeah, of course, obviously.
Yeah.
Did you saw his tweet? What he said?
I saw it.
If I get 1,000 retweets, I show my nutsack.
Santos has looked good though lately, eh? So he's 2-1 now in the UFC. He's looked better and
fun fighter, man.
He showed good, well-rounded game, good wrestling in this fight too. We did have a couple nice, submission attempts, but that was it. What were you gonna say?
Honestly, all those guys from Charles Oliveira are fun fighters. He is, Alan Nascimento is, and I also think still, what's his name? Lacerda is a fun fighter, but yeah, he's just kind of unlucky sometimes. But all those fighters from Charles, like the guys who blonde their hair, that's how you can recognize them. Bleach their hair, I should say. Yeah.
Who's the other guy? Alan Nascimento?
Alan Nascimento, yeah, exactly. Yeah. He was actually supposed to fight Tim Elliott on this card.
That's right. He pulled out. He's a good fighter too. If only Paul Daly was Dagestani, maybe he's still in the UFC. That's funny. Whose stock dropped the most? Good question. We get through the card, Marcus, and ask it again if you don't mind. We're almost done, anyways. Charles Jones got cut. Yes, he did get cut. He had a couple good. Not Mario Batista, but looked bad lately. Yeah, Mendoza's good too, but he fell off this card as well. That would have been a good fight.
Yeah, and
Santos literally dick kicked Munoz off his feet with that first one. Yeah, he did.
And Mendoza's breaking the rules. He dyed his hair blue. So
that's right. He would have been on this card though too. So, anyways, Dontel Mays knocked out Andrei Arlovsky. Marcel, like I was thinking maybe the chin's gone. Maybe, but it was hard to know. But now we know it's gone. It's gone, Marcel. I'll be looking to obviously fade him against whoever in the next fight as well. I don't think Dontel Mays is good, but he had 13-year age gap, and that's something we probably should have been more keen to. I really thought about it. He looked so bad in the last fight against Hamdi. I just couldn't pick him, but he gets the job done here. Any thoughts? Well, that was 2 fights. Sorry, it was the Sakai fight was so bad. That's what I meant to say. And the Hamdy fight was bad, but the Sakai fight, it was like I was like, I'm never picking this dude again. Then he obviously wins, right? So
yeah, the thing is, like, it was a typical Arlovski fight until late in the first round where I got tagged, and after that, Mace knocked him, TKO'd him in the second round.
Rocked him bad.
It's like, it's what I said to a friend of mine. It's like, and he said the same actually. I said after the first round, if Arlovski can't win against Mace, he probably should stop, and that was when he was still doing well, and then he got dropped and he got finished. And I was like, oh, damn, dude, this is probably done with Arlovski. And Arlovski was talking to my colleague Dennis, where he was telling him, like, I still want to make a title run. Yeah, I mean, not likely going to happen, but I feel bad for Arlovski, he's a legend, in my opinion, former heavyweight champion. And man, to see him lose, listen, man, nothing against Dontel Mace, but to see him lose against a guy against Dontel Mace getting finished, listen, man, a prime Arlovski would never lose to a Dontel Mace, you know what I mean? And so that's kind of sucks. But I mean, I never advocate for fighters to retire because I think they should make that own decision and we shouldn't talk about it. But man, I don't want to see Arlovski honestly back if he gets knocked out by Dontel Mace, to be really honest. But hey, who am I? I understand he's still fighting. He wants to provide for his family and all, but yeah.
It was a tough loss. What's up, Sinistry? Says, much love, boys. I had kind of parlays last one it fell. I mean, it sucks. It happens. Trust me. I mean, I think a lot of us have had parlays where the guy loses a split decision and you're like, damn it. Tough loss, but can't wait to see Andre inducted to the Hall of Fame. Yeah, he's definitely going in. For sure.
He should be.
Arlovski should retire. He probably should. I mean, I think he could be Josh Parisian. There's some guys. Yeah, he's 44. He might. Maybe he could
Braxton Smith.
Maybe he could fight UFC 300. Maybe that would be good.
Braxton Smith?
Braxton Smith, I think he beats him, But
if he doesn't get knocked out in the first 15 seconds, we know about Braxton's
got no cardio. He's got 10 seconds of cardio. Yeah. John Castaneda defeats Wayne Gaffarov. I thought this fight was great. I don't know what you thought, Marcel. I love this fight. I thought Gaffarov looked great on short notice. I think to be honest, even though Castaneda obviously won the fight, deserved to win, I actually think Gaffarov overall did more in the fight. He landed way more strikes. He was more aggressive, but he ran out of gas at the end. And also that headbutt, right? The point deduction. I'm okay with that too, by the way, because he led in with it. That's a headbutt. But the third round, he just ran out of gas, and Castaneda just used the wrestling to grind it out. Solid performance by Sexy Mexi Marcel. He moves to 3-2 in the UFC, but I thought Gaffarov looked good. I really did. His striking looked awesome. Super aggressive. To be honest, John he ate some big shots, man. His chin held up great in this fight. I was surprised because he got knocked out his last fight. His chin held up amazing. So, yeah, I thought both guys looked good. I honestly, this to me was besides Pineda and Caceres was the best fight of the night.
I agree. Yeah, man. Very fun fight to watch. But Sexy Mexi won. By the way, his sister, she can call me. She looks really good. I'm just kidding, guys. You nasty fuck's not gonna look her up on Instagram. I mean, good fight. One of the better fights of the night, I think. And I would love to see Gaffarov with a full training camp. With another short notice fight. I think he might have done better. His cardio would have held up a little bit better, I think. But good win for Castaneda, man. After that bad loss against Daniel Santos last time out, where he looked good in the first round and then got stopped in the second. Good bounce back fight from him. And for Muin Gaffarov, I'm happy for him. He's got signed by the UFC. Look forward to see him next, man.
Yeah, it was a fun fight, man. It was a really good one. All right, a couple more fights here, guys. Mohamed Naimov knocks out Jamie Malarkey. I don't know. Malarkey was winning the first round. He obviously won the first round. He walked into the pocket with his hands down his waist. What the fuck was he thinking? Huge mistake. Gets knocked out. Pays for it. I like Malarkey, but look at this, Marcel. He's been knocked down in 3 of his last 4 fights. I think the chin is going here with him. And, Naimov, big win on short notice, up a weight class. Huge upset. I didn't see this coming. Did you?
No, man. I wanted to pick one of the 2 Tajiks, and I thought Gaffarov had the best chance to win.
Yep, I picked Gaffarov too. Yep.
Yeah, exactly. So, and I was like, I think Malarkey gonna use his wrestling and keep distance and that kind of stuff, And he did, man. He won the first round. He looked good until he forgot how to defend. He got hit and he got stopped. First, I was like, is this an early stoppage? Then I see Malarkey barely getting onto his feet. I was like, no, it's a good stoppage,
Yep.
Yeah, good win for Naimov. A little bit of a not post-fight interview where he was like, "I can beat the champion right now." It's like, hey, slow your roll, dude. I understand that you're really hyped up and that you believe in yourself, but slow your roll a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, good win, man. I mean, what can you say about the guy? He took a fight on like what on 4 days' notice,
Knocks him out.
and he knocks him out. So I mean, that's like almost a perfect debut. So congrats to Naimov, man. Very nice.
Yeah, like again, I thought he lost the first round, but he actually did
Yeah.
make some good work too. Like he was laying some big strikes, nice kicks and punches. Looks like he's going to look like a good prospect. I think fighting in he's a featherweight, right? I think normally, Marcel.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see him as normal weight. All right, Elise Reed defeats Jinyu Fry. I liked Elise Reed a lot in this fight. I think you did too. Close fight, but she landed more strikes. That's why she won, right? So go ahead.
I picked Reed or I picked Frey before the fight.
Right.
Yeah, we were. You said you were.
I really
sure
like Reed this fight.
Yeah,
I felt really good about her here. I did.
And I was like, I'm against that.
I'm like, this is the first time picking her, and I feel really good about her.
I think
second time.
I think first round was for Frey. I think third round was for Reed, and the second round was a lot closer. And I honestly think could have gone both ways, but I'm not.
I'll be honest. I thought so too. I was watching with a friend, and I was like, "Fuck, I have no idea." Like, so I'm glad she won, but like, I wasn't sure. I do think Marcel, though, when you look at the scoring criteria, she deserved it because Fry was really just kind of laying and praying. She wasn't.
I have no problem with her winning.
Right? No advancing for submissions. The other girl landed more strikes. She got the win.
But then the fight we had a completely bad read on, the second fight of the night.
Damon Blackshear looked amazing, right? He could have got a bonus too. They could have. I thought he looked great. I mean, I'm not saying like obviously he's behind what's her name, Karine, right? But hopefully they gave him a little bit in the backstage because I thought he looked phenomenal. And you're right, we had a bad read in this fight. We really did because I felt like this. I felt like okay, we saw the certified Cody Stamann, who's a phenomenal wrestler, and he couldn't get him down, right? I figured this guy probably won't get him down. He took him down. Not only did he get him down, Marcel got him down easily, controlled him easily, and the other guy is going for low percentage submission attempts from his back. Horrible game plan by Lacerda. Honestly, man, I don't think he's as good as I thought he was originally. I'd probably be looking to fade him a little bit, but yeah, Blackshear looked good. Anything you want to say?
Yeah, man, Blackshear looked really good, and I got to give him credit, man. I actually kind of overlooked him. I mean, in his first fight in UFC, he got that draw against Zalal. Yep. Second fight, he lost against Farid Basharat, but he looked competitive in that fight, And he did really well against Blackshear or against Lacerda, I think. And I thought Lacerda would do much better, just like you as well. We both were pretty sure that Lacerda was going to win here. And he didn't, And Blackshear did very well. Good for him. Happy for him. Third fight. You don't want to lose your third fight if you haven't won one. So yeah, good for him. He finally got this win.
Yeah. A couple of comments. Reed closed at plus 400. Interesting. I wasn't sure who would win. I was hoping though. I was like, yes, when she won. I was like, fuck yeah. Yeah, that was a great knockout though for Naimov. All right, last fight here, Marcel. I mean, this fight wasn't great either. Nice pick on Linz. You did pick him. I was like on the fence. It was 29-28 for me. It came down to the third round. Linz did more. He held him against the fence and took him down. He had 8 minutes of control. They had like basically the same amount of strikes, and he had 8 minutes of control. So I'm not surprised he won. Basically pushed him against the fence just to get the win. But did we have to do? Go ahead.
This would have been a typical fight for the UFC to put on the main card.
This fight was so shit. Wasn't it bad?
I'm happy it was the first prelim. Yeah,
it was bad. It was a bad fight. Yeah, it sucked.
It was just not fun to watch. And you knew actually after 2 minutes this was going to be a decision.
Dude, you knew going before the fight started. You knew it would probably be boring. We both said it was going to be a decision, didn't we? So, God, these guys don't do it. I mean, Philippe Linz had a nice knockout against OSP.
Definitely.
Do you get excited when you see a Philippe Linz fight on the card or even a Grisham fight? I don't get excited. Do you?
Listen, with Linz, you have sometimes like he can deliver a knockout or can get knockout. With Grisham, it's almost a decision 9 out of 10 times.
Do you think it's Grisham or do you think they kept one more? He's 2-3. Maybe one more?
Maybe one more, yeah.
But he's not exciting though, right? Like he has one. Okay, he does have one knockout win in the UFC. It was 3 years ago. It's Gazi Murov. Antigulov. That guy, had no cardio either. I don't know, man. Grisham hasn't looked good, and he's older too. I don't know. Both guys wasn't my favorite fight. All right, I want to answer Marcus' question: whose stock dropped the most? Well, I mean, I don't know if Jesse Butler had a stock before the fight. Honestly, probably Arlovsky and Malarkey.
I honestly think nobody. Yeah, Malarkey probably.
Malarkey,
yeah,
his chin is gone too. They're not gone, but it's not good. With with Arlovski, I think his chin might be gone, Marcel. And also Abubakar too. I think he fought. I thought his fight sucked, and his performance sucked. What do you
The
think?
thing is like with Abubakar and with Arlovski, people weren't already not very high on them anymore. Or so what's the stock, you know? And with Malaki, I think Malaki was the biggest favorite on the card. Yeah, exactly. So,
and that sucked. Guram, the fight didn't happen with Guram because I thought Guram would have knocked Guram. You know what? Guram would have knocked him out, right? I think for sure.
Guram would have won, yeah,
easily. All right. Anyways, I think that's it for this card. I think maybe just a good time to wrap it up, and we'll start the next podcast. Marcel, is there anything else you wanted to talk about from UFC Vegas 74, or are you good?
I'm good, man.
All right, guys, we're going to wrap up the podcast for the first one. I'm going to end it here. Appreciate everyone joining in to recap UFC Vegas 74. Just going to get UFC 289 preview ready. We'll start the new podcast in just a couple minutes. So bear with me for a moment, guys. But appreciate you guys joining in, and just be back. Just wait a second, and we'll be back in a minute with the UFC 289 preview. Peace.